Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. I am Adam, a.k.a. WXFan21, joined by Charlie, a.k.a. the FF Toilet Ninja. Yo, FF Toilet Ninja, what's happening?
Man, I'm feeling good this week. I'm excited, man. It's championship week in season long if your league is doing it right. And it's tons of juicy matchups, man. This is going to be a fun week. I'm ready to steal some bikes.
It's gonna be fun. I'm in one championship league, one championship in one league. I was telling Charlie before the podcast, like normally I am in fighting for a championship or I'm fighting for third. I usually do really well in multiple leagues every year. This year has been so weird. I had so many hits and just so many misses. My biggest miss of the year was 2 overweight on Miles Sanders. My biggest hit of the year was a fade on Tony Pollard. It was a very weird year. Big hit. I have Hurts in every league except for one where I had Josh Allen. Except the exception of one league that I was picking at the end. It was a super flex, but very weird year. But we're here to talk some DFS here. 13 game slate.
It's a big slate.
I didn't realize you were on a train.
I know, right? It's a loud one tonight. Well, I live near the railroad tracks. It's cool.
It's all good.
It's all right. You get used to it after a while. It's like white noise to me.
There you go. We got a major 13 game slate, Charlie. By the way, someone, as I point to my other screen here, was at the Colts Atlanta game last week.
Oh, man. That was a blast. Look, the Colts, they played like poo-poo. Like, seriously, I've watched every game this season, and that by far was their worst showing. I mean, they just weren't with it, man, but it didn't even matter. It was so much fun. And my son's first Colts game, and AJ had a blast. I got a video of him in his Colts hoodie doing the Dirty Bird. It was hilarious. Man, I mean, so our seats were really, really good seats, especially for what I paid for them. And I feel like I got like a really, really good deal when it was all said and done, honestly. But we just happened to be surrounded basically by like Colts fans, except for 2 guys next to us that were Falcons fans. The older gentleman and his son who was older, but they were awesome. Like when he got there, he's like, "Is this his first game?" It's like, "Yeah, man, absolutely." They didn't rub it in or nothing that the Falcons were just toasting us, but it was great. We had a good time. We had some brisket on top of some mac and cheese with some bacon and cheddar. Man, that's some good stadium food down there at Mercedes-Benz. That's the first time I've been there.
That sounds like more than a meal. It sounds like a sit-down meal,
man.
It sounds like a sit-down meal.
Yeah, dude. Look, like, all right. So picture like the bowls from like Chipotle. If you get like in the bowl, the to-go one, it's like that, dude. They loaded it with mac and cheese, loaded it with brisket. They got all these toppings. So we're like, yeah, put some bacon on there, put some shredded cheese on there. Man, it was, I mean, I posted pictures on Facebook of that stuff. It was so good. And that meal, it was $20 for both of us. $10 a plate for some good brisket. Yeah. And so, we had a good meal. We had fun. The ladies sitting behind us were awesome. They know Josh Downs. Downs is from from right down the street from where I work.
Nice.
So that was cool. I mean, they were, they were a little emotional, they're a little angry, but I told them, I said, look, Minshew's backup quarterback. We're not supposed to be here. This season's been great. You can't be mad at him for this game. You can't win them all. You can't win them all, but man, I think as far as first games
go, going to earn a starting job next year, maybe.
No, he's going to be our backup still. He's going to stay on the Colts. He likes the coach.
There you go. All right,
and they'll pay him. They'll pay him to stay.
It's true. All right, well, let's get into this. Let's get right into the 13-game slate.
Do it.
Massive slate. We're going to start off as we always do, position by position. We're going to go over the quarterbacks. We're going to start with the top 4 quarterbacks on the slate. No surprise, Charlie, it's Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes. The interesting thing to note, All right. And there are a lot of good games on this slate. A lot of good games for fantasy. I'm looking at Atlanta, Chicago. I'm looking at Arizona, Philly. So let's just talk about it. Jalen Hurts, 8,300 is the highest priced quarterback on the slate at home versus Arizona. Josh Allen is at home facing the Patriots. Jackson's at home facing Miami. That is going to be a fun football game to watch. And then Kansas City at home versus Cincinnati. Are you playing any of these quarterbacks? If so, who were you targeting?
So I'm kind of I'm just gonna throw this out here. I've been tooling around with some lineups, and the last lineup I made before we got on today.
If you say Tyrod Taylor,
it is Tyrod Taylor.
All right, bye everybody. I'm kidding. I was joking. Don't say it. I know he's 4,600. He's got nothing to do with these four.
I know. So here's the thing, though. I look at all the juicy matchups that we have this week, and I really want to get in on some of those in other positions. So, like, almost all of the lineups that I've been making, I've been looking on where I can pay down some for quarterback. And so, I mean, I like Patrick Mahomes' his matchup this week. And I really think this is like a, come out, shut him up, get right kind of game for Kansas City. But I just can't trust him at this point for fantasy purposes because he's just not having the season that we've seen in the past. So it's just, it's hard for me. I mean, I don't like Lamar's matchup that much. I don't know. All of everybody that he has to throw to just about seems like they're banged up. It's just, I don't know. Allen has been solid, but I just don't see how you can make the rest of the lineup work this week if you pay 8,200 for a quarterback. And with Hurts, he's got a great matchup. And if there's any way that I can spend any of it, I'd probably want him over the other guys.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is my number one this week. He's got the best matchup of all these top four. It's Arizona.
It's Eric. Gosh, they're not great.
Do I got to say anything else? It's Arizona. They're not good. They're not playing for anything. They're playing at this point basically for a top 3 pick. Right? Now the Roto Grinders Morning Grind podcast made a good point. The Patriots are, I think they said second in run DVOA this season. Means they're the second best team against the run. No surprise. We've always been good against the run. Christian Barmore, Lawrence Guy, some of the best run stuffers in the league, in my opinion. More underrated run stuffers. But if James Cook can't do anything on the ground, Josh Allen's going to have to run, and they're going to have to throw and run.
Yeah.
So they did make a really good point.
The thing about that is I look back and Cook had one of his better fantasy games of the season when they played the Patriots last time. He put up like 20 fantasy points.
Second time around,
and he was not nearly as involved in the offense
he is now.
Then as he is now. Yeah. So it's just like, because we know New England, they stopped that one guy. Since their run defense is pretty good as it is, I feel like that's not going to be the focus for them, right? You got to take out Diggs. I mean, that's just kind of what you got to do. Even though he's having a down season, he's still probably the best athlete, best football player other than Josh Allen on that team. So I feel like that's where the defensive focus probably goes, which doesn't bode as well for Allen, except for he could rush for like 2 touchdowns.
Yep. I like Lamar Jackson second. I think this Miami-Baltimore game is going to be bananas. He's my second favorite quarterback on the slate. Let me just quickly here pull up what the totals are, because I feel like that one is probably pretty high. That one is Bear with me, Chad. I didn't load this before we started. 46.5.
Yeah, it's going to be like 14-12.
I'm taking the over.
Every time we do this season, every time we all collectively think it's going to be a barn burner, we get duds. I'm like,
still
any
taking the over.
game at this point in the last 2 weeks that I think is going to be high scoring, I'm going to treat like a freaking game played at a blizzard.
Yeah, I didn't think the Jets-Browns game was going to be high scoring either. And
40 points in the first half.
mm-hmm.
That was a fun game. It was a fun game to watch.
It was way better than expected. It was what one of my friends said last night. Way better than expected.
One of the best Thursday night games of the season.
The best game is tomorrow night of the entire week.
You think so?
Detroit at Dallas.
This is a great game.
52 total. So I like Lamar Jackson. I don't mind stacking him with a Zay Jones, the likely, even taking shots on Beckham, Bateman, and Aguilar. I don't mind it. You could play Lamar Jackson naked if you want. The thing with Lamar Jackson, you see this here, he's got 130-point game. That was against the Rams. Played the 49ers last week. They won convincingly. Gus Edwards did well. Okay, like 7,700, I need him to get 25 plus. He's done that 4 times this season, it looks like. 1, 2, 3, and 4. He's done it 4 times this season. I like him this week. You don't have to play him. He's one of my favorites this week in this range. I'd probably go Allen 3, Mahomes 4. Look, Mahomes isn't throwing anybody. And I know he shouldn't be taking this much time on the top 4 quarterbacks. He has nobody to throw to. Nobody.
He's got one guy.
Yeah, Rashee Rice.
Yeah, and I'm taking him all day long.
We'll get there.
I think here's the thing, though, man. With like the way things went down, have gone down for the Chiefs in the last few games, I feel like they're gonna come out and be like, "Yeah, what's up? This is what we are." I think Kelsey's pissed. I think he's gonna have a big game. I really
possible.
do.
Big matchup.
But
Cincinnati needs this win. Kansas City needs this win. It's a must-win for both of these teams for playoff seeding. Heck, it's a must-win game for Cincinnati to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, Cincinnati, I don't know, man. They might just be – I think this season may have just caught up with them. Jamar Chase may play, though. It's possible.
The injuries may have caught up to them.
Yeah.
So –
they're before we get into the squad, but
but before we get into the next round of next set of quarterbacks, from Adam Schefter, players out Sunday include Trevor Lawrence, Darnell Mooney, Michael Mayer, Zach Moss, Darius Slay, Marquise Brown, Jalen Waddle, Juju Smith-Schuster, Lonnie Johnson, Ryan Ramczyk. Okay.
Ramsey.
Jack Barrett, Carlton Davis, Ko Kieft, Eric Armstead, Jair Brown, Jalen Moore. My goodness, there's more than that. So there's a lot of players out already. We got.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, one of the big thing on there.
Keep that in mind. Juwan Jennings is out. Caleb Farley, Minka Fitzpatrick, Elandon Roberts, Jamal Adams, Frank Clark is out. Jason Peters, Kadarius Toney. Talk about Chiefs players. Donovan Smith, Baron Browning, Greg Dulcich, Cortland Sutton's out.
Yep.
Keenan Allen's out. Josh Palmer, Joey Bosa, Byron Murphy. And that's just the players on Friday night. That's all from Adam Schefter. That's players already ruled out.
Yeah, and there's multiple players that are questionable with like serious game time decisions.
Big list.
Chase is going to be a game time decision, I think.
Yeah, let's get to the next set of quarterbacks here. Lot to go over. Tua, 7,400. Justin Fields. CJ Stroud is back at home versus the Titans. Brock Purdy is 7K on the road at Washington. As I said, Trevor Lawrence is out. Matthew Stafford is 6,600. Kyler, Baker Mayfield, Russell Wilson. Big list.
I love Purdy on this one. I like Brock a lot.
Purdy is probably my favorite in this range.
I hate that he's 7K, but I'm all right with it.
That's the thing. He doesn't run. He's a pocket passer. You need him to hit 300 plus and probably 2 to 3 touchdowns at minimum.
Probably not throwing 4 picks this week either.
No.
May
not against Washington.
We probably have one because he does like to throw some picks. But yeah, man, I love his matchup. There's some other guys on this team that are going to really, really help him out. I hate it that he's almost at the top of this list. I like Stroud too.
Stroud's a good one. Going to go under the radar.
I think Stafford's going to have a pretty decent game too. The rest of these guys, man, I don't know. Why do they still have Wilson up there? Come on, keep up there, DraftKings.
Don't forget, pricing came out before the news that he was being benched.
Man, this is the world of technology. They can go in there and take him off.
So I agree with you. It's Purdy and Stroud for me.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Justin Fields against Atlanta. Fields is playing for a starting job.
I am struggling with this. So in one of my championships in season long, I have Fields. When Fields went down, I picked up Dak.
Okay.
Right? And Dak has gotten me there. I have not played Fields since. Probably should have last week. Doesn't matter. I'm still in the championship game. I don't know which one of these two guys I'm going to use.
Yeah, I played
Dak at home has been incredible.
Yeah,
but Fields,
play Dak. It's the Lions secondary.
Up. Yeah, that's who I've got in there right now, and I'm a big believer in play the guys that got you there. But
play the guys in the best matchup.
Like now, here's the thing: Atlanta over the last 4 weeks has given up like the least amount of fantasy points to quarterbacks. Okay, that is something of note. That's what's going on. The thing about that is if you look at those quarterbacks, Minshew might have been the best one. I mean, they held Mayfield in check as well. So that defense, especially against the passing game, has really come along. But they don't do great against mobile quarterbacks. And that's where Fields is really going to make your money for you. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want to roll the dice with him in some of my lineups in case he has one of those games. But I'm a little skeptical because that defense has been proving itself. Very underrated defense.
The Bears?
No, the Falcons.
Yeah, that is an underrated defense. There are a lot of teams that are on the cusp of being playoff contenders.
Least amount of fantasy points given up to quarterbacks over the last 4 weeks.
That's surprising.
Atlanta Falcons.
Now, I appreciate the info. Let's get to some of these other cheaper quarterbacks here. Then we'll get to running back here. Geno Smith, 5,900. Jake Browning at Kansas City. The interesting thing here about Jake Browning, he hasn't been terrible.
No, he hasn't.
He's 5,800. Yes, it's Kansas City. It's a game that the Bengals need to win. It's a game that the Chiefs need to win. So it's a game what the Bengals need to win, considering the Ravens have clinched a playoff spot, the Browns have clinched a playoff spot, and the Bengals are third in the division. I did not think the AFC North was going to be that competitive.
It's so tough for the Bengals though because they have certain tiebreakers and they don't have certain tiebreakers. So like if it comes down to the Colts and the Bengals right now have the tiebreaker over them, but they don't have the tiebreaker over the Steelers, I believe, and that's who is also in front of them. So it's like they absolutely even have a shot, have to win.
Yeah.
You know, Kansas City, they could lose another game and still be all right. I mean, they're still going to be there. They're just not going to be there at home. You know, but it's I they've been fun. I'll have some Browning.
I'm just gonna immediately go to Jacoby Brissett.
Is he gonna play?
I have no idea. Hamstring injury.
Yeah.
Popped up on Thursday. Jacoby Brissett is the announced starter. He's 4,900. Because one of the next players we were going to be talking about after Gardner Minshew was Sam Howell, who is not starting. You gotta out there keep an eye to the news. I have no idea what to do here. I'm not playing either. I feel like I would say I'd rather take a shot on Beathard than Brissett.
I don't think that's...
But Beathard is in a worse matchup. Carolina's secondary sneakily is really freaking good this season.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, you run against them.
They are so good.
That being said, though, man,
in that secondary.
He's got a connection with Ridley, and he's got a connection with Evan Ingram, and he could still be, for fantasy purposes, for his price. I'd probably take him over either of the Washington quarterbacks, especially I don't like their matchup.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really stout defense too.
Some of the better quarterbacks I like, Will Levis is 5,200. Derek Carr is 5,500. They're just in better matchups. Levis, if he plays, give me a Levis Hopkins stack with someone from Houston run back.
There you go, Nico Collins.
Yeah, Collins if he plays. It's just really interesting. Like there's not much down here. All right, go ahead and talk about it.
Tyrod Taylor is 4,600. Tyrod Taylor as your QB allows you to get McCaffrey in there along with a top wide receiver. Look, he may be the best quarterback that the Giants have. He's not terrible, and he will come out with the possibility of getting you 20 points. He's done it before, and he can do it again. Everybody likes this guy. These cats will go out there and play for him. It's Tyrod Taylor. Who doesn't like him? I'm telling you, man, there may be an advantage here with his cost. Because if I'm paying,
notice how I'm not arguing with you. I just don't want to play him.
Yeah, but you know what?
But notice how I'm not arguing.
It'll make that game a lot more fun to watch. Because right now, it's the Rams versus the Giants. Who cares? The only reason I have any interest in that game is for fantasy purposes. So, and what if he just comes out there and does the damn thing? It'll be awesome at that price. And if he just has an average game and he puts up 16 points at 4,600, that's all right because I'm going to be spending that other money to get some real points in other positions.
So the Morning Grind podcast talked about this. They also mentioned something really interesting that I don't do. You can play Tyrod Taylor naked and get a lot of plays. You don't have to stack him with anybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
Also sounds like a terrible idea, but one I might end up doing. Look, he's 4,600. If he gets you 15 points and the rest of your lineup smashes, that might pay off.
It will.
But regardless, that's quarterback. Let's get on to, by the way, I guess I should give an honorable mention to Jarrett Stidham, the Denver starting quarterback. At home versus the Chargers, he's 4,800. Like I said, honorable mention. Moving on, running back.
Man, McCaffrey. He's got a match.
The MVP of the 2023 season, Christian McCaffrey. I'm not talking fantasy MVP. I'm talking first running back in who knows how long to win the MVP.
Yes.
Because Purdy does not look as good without McCaffrey. That offense does not look good without McCaffrey. And the 49ers don't win as many games without McCaffrey. McCaffrey should be getting a lot more respect than he is. Lamar Jackson's probably going to win the MVP. Don't think he needs. I think if you look at players that have done something for the team and an impact, my MVP vote would be for McCaffrey.
Yeah, McCaffrey is the MVP. He really is.
I don't think he wins it. I mean, even George Kittle came out and gave McCaffrey the voice of support over Purdy. He's like, Christian's the MVP. Or CMC's the MVP. Whatever he said, like Kittle came out and pushed for him. So the get your McCaffrey plus whatever MVP bets in. It's Christian McCaffrey. He's matchup proof. Just play him.
Oh yeah, he's gonna see, and this is why I like using Tyrod Taylor. McCaffrey is 9,600. You gotta shortchange somewhere to get him in, because you're not gonna be able to do it with just McCaffrey.
Well, here's the deal. There's someone right below him I think I want way more of, and that's Kyren Williams.
Oh, I hope he goes off.
McCaffrey, yeah, he's in a better matchup. But San Francisco can destroy, and we'll get to this because I want to talk about Brandon Ayuk. You defeat Washington in the secondary and on the perimeter. It's been like that for a while. I haven't heard anyone dispute the stats otherwise. Heard that many, many, many weeks ago. Washington is one of the worst teams in the league against perimeter wide receivers. Love Brandon Ayuk this week. Kyren Williams, I have no idea what he's going to come in projected at. I want Kyren Williams against the Giants. I think this is a Kyren week. As much as I was on Kyren and Puka last week, like I said last week when we did the podcast, I crushed in Showdown. I had a ridiculous amount of Puka and Kyren, and it was if I played Ronnie Rivers over Royce Freeman, I might have shipped something. Like, this is a Kyren week. I'm going to be right back on Puka. Cup is more interested in me this week. Stafford's interesting, but I think this is a Kyren week. I have no interest in Rachaad White, no interest in Alvin Kamara. Kyren is the play for me, in my opinion.
Now, I like
Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, I'm going to play him, but
yeah, I like Rachaad White. At this point, to me, the guy is matchup proof. It doesn't matter. He gets the ball so many times.
He's not for me. It's New Orleans.
Reliable. The thing is that now everybody's on to it now, so his price keeps going up. So
he's good.
I like him. And if like you're going through your lineup and then somehow you're done and you have 7,600 left, that's probably that's I'm going to throw him in there. But if you want to do Williams, I'm great with that. That guy has been an outstanding running back, especially for fantasy purposes. I feel like McCaffrey ends up, because I feel like McCaffrey's going to end up getting into this pass game a lot too in this game. And I think that he may.
I think people forget how much the Rams liked Kyren Williams last year before he got injured. They liked him. They drafted him last year. He's a really good player. I think a lot of us just forgot, just how good he is. I don't even remember who the starting running back is for the team before Kyren.
My thing is that
who was the starting running back for the Rams before Kyren?
There's nobody that they traded to Minnesota. He's out.
Madison?
Now. He's hurt. Huh?
Who did they trade?
Who did they trade? Minnesota.
Exactly. It was that good.
Oh man. Didn't he have like initials or something? Wow, we are bad at this. All right, but so check it out though. So
I'm now gonna Google this. Go ahead.
The same thing that you say, for Washington, it's the same thing for the Giants too. You beat them more in the receiving game. While their run defense isn't great, it's better than their pass defense is. I think this is a way better game for Cooper and Nakua than I do Williams. I mean, he's going to be there, but if I'm spending this price money, this kind of money, man, I think McCaffrey outscores him this week. I'm with you. I'm not touching
Cam Akers.
Cam Akers. That was
Akers. It. Right. Sorry. Kyron's got over 1,000 rushing yards already in only 11 games.
I like Taylor this week. I think the Colts are going to come out angry. They have to win. If they win, the playoffs is theirs if they win outright. So, you know,
the Rams?
They've got a lot to play for.
Who did you say?
Huh?
Who did you say? The Jags?
The Colts.
Oh, the Colts, yeah.
I like Taylor this week.
I'm going to be right back on Taylor. I'm on ETN. I can't play. I'm not playing James Cook at 7,100.
How on to ETN are you?
This is the first.
I'm losing faith in him.
Now, it's not like Bigsby's fighting the takeover either. To your point on James Cook, 13 rushdowns, 56 yards, and had a receiving touchdown, 19.2 DraftKings points against New England in Week 7. Now they're at home. He's been utilized more. I'd rather play ETN. Here's the problem with ETN. Exploded the first half of the season. Exploded. Yeah. He's done nothing since, and his attempts have gone down. Does that have something to do with Trevor Lawrence? I don't know.
I think so.
Like, if we just take a look, where is Jacksonville? Because Dearness Johnson's the one that's been getting to work. Tank Bigsby, the talented rookie.
He's just
not getting work at all. He's out.
He's just like out of it.
Yeah, and then you get Snoop Connor, who hasn't done anything. Like, this is ETN's backfield.
But their run game has just not been good.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm just not. So McCaffrey, Williams, Taylor, ETN for me. You like Rashad White in that group. Are you playing Mostert or HN this week? Or none?
If I play either of them, I'm probably going to play Mostert, but most likely I'm not going to take them.
I agree.
I don't really like running backs against Baltimore, and that's always kind of been their forte on defense. So,
yep. Any interest in Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley, both under 7K?
I do not like Barkley at all, but I'm never ever going to tell anyone to start Saquon Barkley. I have no faith in that guy, ever. He can go down in any game. Henry can beat Houston. I know that their run defense has gotten better, but Henry historically can beat up on Houston, and he's their guy in the end zone. So, I'll take a chance, but I think there's a few guys. If Pacheco plays, I'd rather have Pacheco than Barkley or the King, really.
Agreed.
Let's
talk about this nice range down here. Austin Eckler, Bijan Robinson, and the player that I'm probably lock buttoning this week, and I don't lock button players, but I'm going to be overweight on is DeAndre Swift.
Okay.
It's Arizona.
I love his matchup. What's he done? What did he do last week?
20 attempts.
Okay.
1 touchdown, 92 yards.
14, 6, 11, 18, 20. It's increasing. I like that. I haven't put him in any lineups yet, but I'll take some chances on him.
I'm going to have a lot of
that's
DeAndre
really
Swift.
Because I have a 2 RB setup right now that I just absolutely love. CMC
and Kyron, so original.
Who?
CMC and Kyron, so original.
Kyron, give me some Zeus, baby. All day long, man. You go all the way down there to like 4,100 and get me Zamir White. And
5,100 Zamir White.
CMC.
Yeah,
5,100.
Zamir White's a good play.
Yes, absolutely.
Bijan should be the player that you want to play.
Can you trust Arthur Smith at this point in the season?
Nope. The answer to that is nope, F no, and no.
I mean, last week you could have played either one of them. Him or Algier.
This dude.
I want him to have a good game.
Playing Austin Eckler, he's 6,700. The cheapest he's probably been in years.
I want him to have a good game. He's just not. He's not doing it in this offense.
He's not getting utilized. I think he's going to be out of the. I don't even think it's Kellen Moore. I think a lot of it had to do with Staley. I think they're just trying to limp through the end of the season. They're already eliminated from the playoffs.
But Staley wasn't calling the plays, was he?
I have no idea, but I'd rather play more Bijan than Swift and Eckler because of the talent.
Yeah,
but opportunity is definitely more.
I agree, absolutely.
Opportunity is more.
It's just hard to trust Eckler. It's just I love his matchup.
He's 6,700.
I know. I love it. I love everything about it except for, I mean, we just really haven't seen it other than the first week of the season.
It's annoying.
And I don't want to. I hate to think that it's, but I mean, Father Time for a running back, he is old.
Yeah, let's talk about Ezekiel Elliott. Take a look at the rushing attempts.
He's getting them all.
Take a look at the targets. 8 targets against Pittsburgh, 6 against Kansas City, 11 at Denver.
Caught 9 of those.
Against Buffalo, no Ramondre Stevenson. You only really got to worry about Kevin Harris on the backfield. I think he's an interesting GPP play this week.
Love the opportunities.
Gus Edwards, no. James Conner. It's Philly's run defense. You want to take shots. I don't hate it. Chuba Hubbard is fine.
That run defense for Philly has declined a little bit over the last few games, too.
They are
something to take advantage of.
Still elite. I'm not worried about it.
But you got to think, too. This is a very distinct possibility in this game. Philadelphia is not great against the pass. There is a chance that Connor is the number 1 pass catcher for Arizona. They have
that's why I said I'm not against it.
Yeah. So
it's him and McBride. That's it.
Yeah. And I like both of those guys this week.
Agreed. We'll get to McBride when we get to tight ends. Chuba Hubbard's getting the workload. It's at Jacksonville. He's fine. I'm not playing Brian Robinson Jr., even though he's my boy. I'm not playing him. Devin Singletary, I think, is sneaky at 56. Javante's fine at 56. Jalen Warren, I really like at 55. Javante's good. Javante's not getting the workload.
Javante might get the workload this week.
Yeah, I feel like we've been saying that for weeks.
Yeah,
he's so explosive. He's so explosive. He's just not getting. He hasn't been given the opportunities that he needs to show out. I don't know if it's Sean Payton. I don't know if it's the offense. I don't know if it's the locker room. I have no clue.
The thing is that without Russell Wilson at QB, I feel like the game plan changes a little bit more. Because the thing is that, you know, everything you hear and stuff like this in the drama with Wilson, a lot of it is that he can't really play the type of game that Sean Payton wants to coach. And we know what that is. And that bodes well for a guy like Williams. So if they come out there and try it Sean Payton's way with a quarterback that he's got a little bit more trust in to do the things he wants him to do, then he may have a big game. It could be a nice little breakout game here at the end of the season for him. I mean, we saw him go off for 18 points a couple of weeks ago.
It's possible. All right. Let's continue to talk about it. There is one other player down here we're going to talk about, and that is Zamir White against the
Deuce. Yeah.
17 attempts with no, I think it was Josh Jacobs was out the first week. 22 attempts at Kansas City for 145 yards. He gets a touchdown. He's not 5,100 this week.
The Colts are terrible. The Colts are terrible against the run.
Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of Zamir White.
Oh, yeah. And
He
this
also
is
frees
how
up
you
salary.
offset CMC's price. I'm telling you,
Yep.
these 2 guys together it may be a game winner.
Najee Harris is 5,000. Just thought it's worth mentioning.
I like Najee this week.
Jalen Warren's still more explosive.
I do.
Yep.
I'm all right with Warren too, but I think I like Najee a little bit more.
Agreed. Anything else on running back before we switch over to wide receiver?
Nah, man.
Tyreek Hill is 9,300 against Baltimore. Play him. A.J.
With no Waddle.
Brown. Yeah, again, Waddle out. Tyreek Hill is the main beneficiary.
Oh, and Josh Jacobs did get downgraded.
Who?
Jacobs on the running backs.
He's not playing.
Doubtful. Yeah.
He's doubtful. You're playing Zamir White.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill, you're playing him. A.J. Brown, best wide receiver on the slate. Play him. Stephon Diggs against New England. Possible bounce back. Play him. Cooper Kupp is 8,100. Play him. Puka, 7,900. Listed as questionable. Hip injury. Still, Sean McVay is expected to play. The hip injury is a little concerning. I might boost up Kupp a bit more. Mike Evans at New Orleans. Charlie, what's the one team Mike Evans has not done well against throughout his career?
It's freaking New Orleans. We went over this a few weeks ago, guys. It still applies. Evans sucks against New Orleans.
Why is that, Charlie?
They know how to take him out.
There's one player on that defense.
Take him out. He's going to get in a fist fight with Lattimore.
There it is. Marshall Lattimore shuts down Mike Evans.
They're going to get into a fist fight. Watch.
Oh, boy. All the top wide receivers you want to play this week. A.J. Brown is my favorite. If you can get to Tyreek Hill, get to Tyreek Hill. There is no Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill is matchup proof. I like Cooper Kupp third.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like Mike Evans fourth. But I'm probably not going to get there. Let's get to it. Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. Deebo's 7,700. Brandon Ayuk is 7K.
You are taking different guys.
I want all the Brandon Ayuk that I can get. Oh, nope. Look at you. You're a Deebo fan.
It's Deebo. It's Deebo. I told y'all I'm going to be stealing bikes this week. Just like Deebo. I get what you were saying about receivers on the outside and whatnot.
Whatever.
The flip side of that is the style of defense that Washington plays bodes better for Deebo than it does for Ayuk.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Deebo is going to take advantage, not to mention he's pretty much on fire. I love him this week.
So
he is my number one receiver this week.
Yeah.
I don't hate Ayuk.
It is a Deebo week. It's a Deebo week. So here's why. We've been saying this. I feel like we've been saying it all year. When you're playing, when San Francisco plays an opponent versus man coverage, it's Ayuk. When they play versus zone coverage, it's Deebo.
Yep.
Guess what the Commanders play more of? It's zone.
And they're not good at it.
They play so they're 21st in zone coverage rank according to PFF for zone for the Commanders and 12th in man coverage.
Look,
so just
zone.
To give some let me just give some stats here. So versus zone, Deebo Samuel has had 266 routes run, 48 receptions for 727 yards, 43.9% air yards, a 24.8% target rate. That's important. And 144.7 PPR points. Brandon Ayuk has had 312 routes won, 47 receptions, 843 receiving yards, 75.8% air yard percentage, but a 20.2% target rate and 149.3 PPR points. So this bullet is straight from PFF. Quote, Deebo Samuel, 0.54, and Brandon Ayuk, 0.48, are top 12 wide receivers in fantasy points per route run versus zone, and should be in for a great week in a favorable matchup, end quote. You want another fun stat? Quote, Washington has allowed a first down or touchdown on 37.9% of zone coverage snaps, which is the 6th worst mark in the league, and an explosive play on 18.2% of zone coverage snaps, which is the worst mark, end quote. There's a reason we really like Brock Purdy this week.
Yep. And that's why that set of stats for Deebo and that set of stats for IU. One thing that I really like, and this is what bodes well for Deebo, is the amount of receptions, the amount of routes ran.
Yep.
He is getting targeted on his routes way more. He's got a chunk less, and he's getting it done there, right there in receptions.
Play both.
But both of them. Hey, look, if you could find a way to stack them both, you could win some money like that. They might both have huge games.
Yeah, you're playing them. It's
Yeah,
that simple.
like
By the way,
that.
this is wide receivers. This has nothing to do with tight ends. This is wide receiver man or zone coverage performance ahead of week 17. You can find it for free on Pro Football Focus.
Washington's zone has so many holes in it that it's like half zone. So
yeah. So
it's bad.
They're both great plays. Jamar Chase, as you mentioned, shoulder injury listed as questionable.
I don't trust him.
Stoved in with that. It's an AC joint sprain. So
make it hard to catch.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he plays. Just I don't know. Michael Pittman is questionable, but should be back.
He's going.
He's logged full practices Thursday and Friday. Pittman will be most likely will play. If he doesn't play, that'll be a surprise inactive, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course he was last week too. He got off the plane and had a relapse of concussion symptoms. That sucked. I was very disappointed in that when I found that out. But I think he's back, and I think that he could have a really big game. I like him.
Agreed.
He has been pretty much matchup proof this whole season. No matter which QB was throwing to him, dude's a stud.
Excuse me. Sorry, long day.
I like him.
Yep. So there's a reason we spend time on some of these higher priced players. One, they're the really good players. But this week, when it comes to wide receivers, when it comes to running backs, because of how big the slate is, you really got to figure out how you want to approach it. We just spent time on the San Francisco wide receivers. That's a question every week. You figure out, is it man coverage or zone coverage?
Mm-hmm.
Brock Purdy, 7K. That's a lot to ask for. Who was going to be our cheap value? We've talked about Zamir White, right? Like we've talked about some of those 6K running backs, even though we want Christian McCaffrey and we want Kyron Williams. You really got to figure out where it is that you want to be. Pittman, I really like this week. Devontae Adams, Node, Smith. You play everyone from Philly. Nico Collins is going to most likely smash and probably be overlooked.
Yeah, I love him this week. I think he's a great play. He's got his buddy back throwing with him. He's got
CJ Stroud. Oh, by the way, so I bought into a football card break.
Yeah.
I was finally able to grab the Texans. A nice card comes up at the end. I can't remember what color it was, but it's the Panini Prism first off the line hobby boxes. And I'm like, it's a Texan. Please be CJ Stroud. It wasn't a rookie. I'm like, okay, give me something. It was Laramie Tunsil. Couldn't have given me something other than Larry Tunsil. Really?
Oh, man. Oh, heartbreak right there.
Rude. It's all good. I did get a CJ Stroud base. And to talk about your Colts, I bought into an International Origins blaster box case break. I got almost 10 Anthony Richardsons. Nice. I got like 10 Josh Downses, including a couple of out of 149 parallels. The cards are so gorgeous to look at. I sent 5 of them out to be graded.
Heck yeah.
So Downs is going to have a really big second season, in my opinion, once Richardson gets back.
Oh, I think so too. I'm very excited about that kid being on the Colts. I really am. He's got a lot of potential as a slot receiver.
And if he's going to be someone we talk about here too on this slate, hint.
If we keep Pittman and then, if we have those guys 4 years from now when the rookie contract is over and we get Marvin Harrison Jr. on the Colts, it's going to be an insane.
How much you're going to have to pay Marvin Harrison Jr. about $150 million?
That's all. No, man, we get the hometown discount.
You ain't getting no hometown discount.
Yeah.
He's an absolute stud. I can't wait to see him in the NFL.
Oh, I know. And he is, he's not playing in his bowl game. He hasn't officially declared, but he's not playing in the bowl game. So
no, he's not. No, they don't have to declare right away. But these players are not going to risk.
Yeah,
you're a top 2 pick. You're pretty much a top 2 or top 3 pick. Maybe 4 if it goes, Williams, May, and Jaden Daniels, and maybe you go 4. But like he's not going to risk that.
Nope.
Caleb Williams wasn't playing in the bowl game. People are talking about his backup.
What he did?
I don't know.
Better than he.
College is interesting. Better. Can we please talk about one of my favorite wide receivers?
Is it Rice?
Personal wide receivers? No, it's Chris Olave.
Oh yeah, he's juicy this week.
I love Chris Olave. He is such a great wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He's been fighting through this ankle injury for a while now. It came out today. I don't know who had it, either Schefter or someone on Twitter. He's been still battling the ankle injury. So he's not fully healthy, but he's still playing. And he's playing like this. Can we please get this guy with a great quarterback, please? This said someone better than Derek Carr.
Oh,
just
man.
look at what he's 9 targets, 8 targets, 5 targets, 13 targets. 21.4 points, 21.4, 19.9, 12.8. Again, Carolina. And 26.3. Olave's so good!
He is, dude.
81 receptions for 1,041 yards and only 4 touchdowns. This should be almost 8 to 9 touchdowns. Chris Olave is so good.
Yeah, I'm all about Olave. I like him. Rice, either one of these guys I think will be a good game. I like Olave a bit better.
Yep, I agree. Rice is a good play too. Calvin Ridley against Carolina. I'm only playing him if you play CJ Beathard.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Beathard and him seem to have kind of a connection. So there may be something there, but it's a roll of the dice because for what it's worth, that may be the best part of Carolina's whole game is their pass defense.
Yep. So
it's the only thing they're good at.
I just want to make a quick note here about T. Higgins. I'm not playing him, but one of the 3 main bullet points here on that PFF article that I got all the man versus zone coverage. This bullet point says, quote, T. Higgins has earned his way back into fantasy lineups. Higgins should be a key option for the Bengals against the Chiefs in Week 17 due to his man coverage beating ability, end quote.
I agree.
I'm not playing him in DFS, most likely. But man, that's an interesting stat right there. All right, is there anyone else to talk about here? Like, with Sutton out, are you playing Judy at all?
No, I'm not. I like Thielen. I'm throwing
And Judy may
Thielen
not
into
even
the
play.
lineup.
Judy's questionable due to an
Yeah, I'm
illness.
not. I'm probably not touching the Denver pass game. If I
Yeah.
do, I may go with what's his name, the rookie. But no, I do like
There's someone who should
Thielen
have been
though at his
utilized the
price.
entire season. Marvin Mims.
Yeah, Mims. I'll take some shots on Mims.
Yeah. Not interested in DJ Moore against Atlanta.
If
Hopkins,
Flowers
I like.
plays,
Yep, Flowers.
if Flowers plays, he's the only pass catcher I really like on Baltimore this week.
I can't interest you in some Isaiah Likely.
Okay. He's the only wide receiver that I'm interested
There
in
you go.
on Baltimore.
That's
But
fine.
I'm out on D-Hop. I don't know. See,
it's
no,
Houston.
I know
Houston. If Levis starts,
I don't know.
Hopkins could crush. Again, just he's another GPP play for me. Gabe Davis is fine. McLaurin is fine. Josh Downs is 5,400. It's a tough price tag to pay for him.
Yeah,
I don't mind
Pittman's
taking shots on him, but Pittman is the guy for me that I would play from the Indy pass stack.
Here's the thing, and look, as far as football goes, I love Josh Downs, and I'm excited that he's on the Colts. But I seriously would probably play Pickens over Downs this week.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And Brown, I like Noah Brown.
I was just going to get there. Noah Brown, I really like this week. His price is not going up. He just continues to beat the price.
Yep.
I mean, Noah Brown now gets CJ Stroud back. 7 targets last week. Only caught 3 of them. It was Cleveland. Wasn't that a rain game or something?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the best defenses in the league. Anyhow, he didn't have Stroud throwing to him.
Stroud's back. Noah Brown's gonna.
Yeah, I
think Noah Brown's gonna feast.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think now I'm going to say this. I think Nico has the bigger game, but there's a huge price difference. So, I like Brown a lot because they're going to be close, I think. But that's how you beat that. That's how they win this game. If Houston wins this game, that's how they do it. They're going to do it with Nico Collins and Noah Brown.
I agree. There's your stack right there.
Yeah.
Let's wrap through this up real quick. I apologize to everyone. It is 10 o'clock, past 10 o'clock here. I had to go do some work stuff after work. Any interest in Drake London?
After work.
Yeah, part-time work to bring in more money.
Oh, screw the Falcons, dude.
Charlie, tell us how you really feel. Tell the chat how you really feel.
Dude, Arthur Smith has been a fantasy nightmare. Like, I'm just out on them. They beat up on my Colts last week. I'm just
so there's some bias in there.
There's other guys down here.
Bias in there.
There's other guys down here
kidding.
that I would much rather. Like, I'm going to take
Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson's one. Shaheed, I'll take all day long over London, at least in this matchup. Boyd, I'm okay with taking shots on him if you need a cheaper wide receiver.
Yep,
and
I think.
Even though
I just want to point out one quick because people are going to go, "Oh, what about the Chargers? What about Quentin Johnston? How about Darius Davis?"
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. A lot of
people he hasn't done much, but he has been utilized. He's sometimes utilized on the rush game. Like, it's going to be Quentin Johnston at 3,700, Alex Erickson, who we really haven't played since his days on the Bengals. But this guy,
yeah,
who has gone nuts last season and has had break slate type of weeks, might be Jalen Guyton. 3K, I would love to take shots on Jalen Guyton this week. So just touching on that real quick.
Could be a really good way to help get Tyreek in your lineup.
Yep.
Just throwing that out there. If you want him, that's the way you got to go. Something like that.
All he needs is one long catch.
Maybe, Dortch, in case he gets a touchdown.
Sorry, chat.
Shark. What do you think of Shark?
I think it's interesting at 3,600. I like Mingo at 3,500. If you really want a cheap stack, Bryce Young, Mingo, I don't mind it. I think that's really interesting.
See, I like the matchup for Shark is great, but I feel like it's just chasing points. Like that was a fluke. Well, there's no way he does it again. But if he gets touchdown at that price,
Mingo had one target last week. 6 targets at Tennessee, 10 targets, 9 targets, 5 targets. It's so weird. I mean, Shark hit 8 targets because where was Mingo's? This is more in line what I would expect for Shark.
The thing is that those
I don't mind it. Yeah, I don't mind it. I really don't. If you want to take random shots on a Carolina stack with these cheap Carolina wide receivers, even Adam Thielen, I don't hate it. I don't like it, but I don't hate it.
I like down here at 3,500 too. I like Wilson.
A.T. Perry, Mims, 3,500. He's questionable. What is he questionable with? Hamstring injury. See if he plays. Just again, I think it might just be. I don't know. I mean, you can take a shot on Trenton Irwin if Jamar Chase sits. Berrios 3,300 because again Waddle's out.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I think that's a good dart throw.
Yep,
I really do with Waddle out. Because I mean, he might get you 10 fantasy points, and I mean, I'm cool with that at that price.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not playing Smith Marset. I know he had the touchdown. I'm not doing it. I'm not playing Jake Bobo. He is a talented young wide receiver. I'm not doing it. Again, I think for me, I'm going to take the shot on Jalen Guyton at 3K. I'm not going to go crazy, but I'll probably have like 20%. All it takes is Guyton to have one long catch. That's it. That's all he needs. We've seen this last year with him. Yes, it's not Justin Herbert throwing to him. I understand that. But if Denver is going to be busy guarding Johnston, I don't mind taking a shot on Guyton. But I wouldn't go crazy on him. Any other wide receivers you want to talk about before we get in the tight end real quick? It's getting late.
No, I mean, I like Wilson on Arizona because somebody's going to have to step up and catch the ball. So, but any of these guys down here, it's really just you almost got to think to yourself which one of these guys might get the touchdown.
That's the thing,
because that's the guy that's going to pay off, and I think Guyton has a good shot of at that.
Yep. All right, well, let's get in a tight end. Here we go. It's tight end time.
Oh, I got one. Yeah.
7K Kelsey. McBride is 5,900, and no surprise. He's going to be probably chalk. He's going to be the run back on the Philly stacks for good reason. You play Trey McBride. You can play Travis Kelsey. Komet's fine. Waller I like this week. Likely I like this week. Taysom Hill's finally dropped down to a reasonable price tag at 4,400. Kyle Pitts is interesting. But talk about him. Talk about your boy.
And Gerald Everett has had 8 targets in the last 3 games. Look at that. So we went 4, 5, 8, 8, 8. Right? 5, 5, and 7 on the receptions. There are no wide receivers left on this team that are healthy. This guy always has the potential to get into the end zone too. They have used him time and time again in the red zone. All right. If he grabs one of them, there you go. At his price, you seriously may get 2 touchdowns and 40 yards out of him. And if you get that at his price, that is a stellar deal.
Yep.
And it's opportunity. This is opportunity. They trust him. They use him.
If you want to take a really long shot just because of the red zone usage, you can play Parham. But I agree. I think Everett's a really nice play. I think Chikakonkwo is a nice play. Tanner Hudson, this is not the week for him, but if you want to take shots on him at 33, he's fine. Johnson at 3,400 is fine.
Trending up a lot.
Yep. Jonnu Smith at 3K is fine. Troutman is interesting, but I'm probably not getting there. Omnis doesn't get the targets.
I like Otten this week.
Otten's fine. 3,100. A lot of decent tight ends. Is there anything I've said that you disagree with?
No, I don't think so. I'm not that big on Likely. I mean, I think he'll be all right, but I like other guys under him. Way too much to pay for him. I do think that Kelsey has a huge game. Yep. I really do. That guy is mad, and he's mad.
I'm going to have a lot more Trey McBride than Kelsey.
Come out like an animal.
Yep, I'm going to have a ridiculous amount of Kelsey. Ridiculous amount. I mean, not Kelsey, McBride. I don't know if I can get to Kelsey. I have so many other plays I like. I'll leave them in. If the optimizer gives them to me in lineups, that's fine. I already said it. Oh, Adam, why haven't you just mentioned got it? Because I said play everyone from Philly.
Oh, I'll say this too, though. Komet, it looks like he's going to play. If he plays, dude, he is like Fields' guy.
Yeah.
So he's a good one. If he plays, I mean, he had 100 and something yards before he went down in the last game. And Atlanta is terrible against tight ends.
Yep. Well, let's get into it. I don't want to keep everyone here too late. It's almost 10:30 Eastern. Charlie, thank you for hanging out. I know this is late for us to record, but I appreciate it. Let's get into our pickup segment.
Good.
Let's get into our pickup segment here.
My wife's probably mad about it, not me. I'm all right.
Well, tell her I apologize. Let's get into it. We're going to give you all, this is our pick'em segment. We're going to give you 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a defense that we like for this slate. All right, Charlie. 2 quarterbacks. Okay. So for this slate, 2 quarterbacks you like for this slate, Charlie. Go ahead.
So we both agree on Purdy. So I'm not even going to touch him.
Yes, we both agree on Purdy.
I like the pay down on Tyrod Taylor, and I like Stafford.
Nice. For me, it's Jalen Hurts and CJ Stroud. I like CJ Stroud. Yeah. I'll give an honorable mention to Will Levis if he plays. And again, don't sleep on Jake Browning. 2 running backs that you like. Again, we're excluding Christian McCaffrey. And you know what? Let's exclude Kyron Williams.
So, I mean, I've already told you guys mine too. I mean, look, Zeus is in there.
Zamir White.
For real. If you don't have Zamir White in your lineup this week, you're freaking crazy. There's no reason not to at his price. And the Colts, again, I love the Colts. They're horrible against the run. We cannot stop nothing. But grandma could run all over this team. It's terrible. It's been awful. She's dead. She could still get a touchdown in 85 yards. It's that bad. I thought we were going to be better with Grover Stewart coming back. He didn't do nothing. It's terrible. Start Zeus. Put him in your lineup. If you don't, you should be smacked. And look, if he
plays, fine then. Damn.
I'm a little mad about it. It would have been horrible against the run. But for fantasy purposes, it works out well this week.
Wow.
I actually like, it's kind of funny because the running back that I really, really like is not in the Sunday slate. But if he plays, I really like Pacheco too. I got
Pacheco's good.
Right game for the Chiefs. I think they're going to be coming out firing on all cylinders and then some.
Yeah. I also like Zamir White, but I'm going to give you two different ones. I'm going to go with Austin Eckler and DeAndre Swift because Bijan is obvious, but again, I don't trust Arthur Smith. But Bijan's obvious, but I'm going to go with Eckler and Swift. Two wide receivers that you like. This is tough. We've talked about a lot of them.
I know. So let's take we'll take San Fran out of this.
Correct. The San Francisco wide receivers are out of this because
we all love them.
Yes.
I really like Cooper Kupp this week.
Nice.
I like Cooper Kupp a lot. I think he's going to have the bigger game out of those two. And then I really like. I don't want to keep hammering on this Kansas City game, so I'm going to go with my boy Pittman because he's pretty much matchup proof.
There you go. Were you going to say Rice?
I was going to say Rice.
Yeah.
But it's like I can't be telling people, hey, start all the Chiefs. Like,
yeah.
It's usually not a good idea. I'm going to be smacking myself if that actually works this week.
Yeah. This is no
lineup with that.
There you go. you do it, Kansas City lineup. There you go. For me, I told you my favorite wide receiver play on the slate is AJ Brown. He can absolutely nuke on this slate. And I really like Nico Collins, and I'm going to say it again: large field GPP punt play, Jalen Guyton.
I think honorable mention to Olave too.
Agreed.
Really good matchup.
One tight end each that we like.
Oh, I already told you guys mine. So I mean, it's Gerald Everett. It really is. Like that's the guy. But if I was gonna pick somebody else, man, I'm all over Komet. I think he's a vital part of that offense, and if he plays, that's the guy that I'm gonna put in because he can do it. He showed you last week he can get 100 yards with ease.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say Kelsey. Mine is very simple. It's Trey McBride.
McBride's a great play this week.
Would we play a $5,900 wide receiver against Philly? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially
one
one that might get the most targets.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to catch the ball in that game for Arizona.
I'm playing Trey McBride. Defense. Defense that you like this week.
Oh. I like my Colts that can't stop the run.
Colts of 3,200?
Yeah, because other than the fact that the Raiders are going to run all over them, that's all they're going to do. That's all they're going to do. And the price is pretty good. So I've been using them a lot. I also like the Rams defense a lot this week.
There you go. Bears defense for me. Actually, the Bucks are pretty sneaky too. But I like the Bears this week at 3,400. Thank you all for tuning in and hanging out with us. We know it's been a longer podcast than normal. Charlie, it's 10:30. I want to go to bed.
I want to go bed my wife.
There you go.
Friday
We'll catch you all next week. It'll be the last regular season week for us. We'll talk about if we're coming back for the playoffs. But week 18 is going to be crazy, like the old week 17 used to be. Players will be sitting. Teams will be either fighting for something. They'll be fighting for bonuses. They'll be fighting for records. They'll be fighting for whatever. Or they're going to be sitting and doing nothing and backups are going to play. So it'll be a very interesting week. You'll be keeping an eye on news, keep an eye on all that stuff. We'll have you covered. We'll see you next week. Good luck this week. Latest, people.